In the news tonight, attorney condemns manslaughter charge against policeman.
We now have the name of the police officer, and one of two things will happen. Either we will file criminal charges for murder against the police officer, or we will bring judicial review proceedings against the Director of Public Prosecutions to quash her decision to charge manslaughter and not murder.
Sheriff Duncan granted $200,000 bail on name calling charge, and Leparkan bond destroyed in a massive fire. Attorney at law Nigel Hughes says he strongly condemns the manslaughter charge instituted by the Director of Public Prosecution against the policeman who shot and killed businessman Orrin Boston. Hughes, who is representing the interests of Boston's family, said his legal team will commence prerogative proceedings to review that decision.
I very strongly condemn the decision of the Director of Public Prosecutions to institute manslaughter charges. We are not going to leave it there. We will commence proceedings, prerogative proceedings, to review that decision with a view to seeking an order of the court directing her to charge the defendant with murder. And the basis for that is this: we have statements which confirm that he was murdered. The only thing we did not have was the name of the police officer. We now have the name of the police officer, and one of two things will happen. Either we will file criminal charges for murder against the police officer, or we will bring judicial review proceedings against the Director of Public Prosecutions to quash her decision to charge manslaughter and not murder, because the standard operating procedures of the police were clearly breached, and that those are the standard operating procedures for the use of weapons in those conditions. We know for a fact that Mr. Boston was not one of the targets of that SWAT visit to Essequibo. They went there to arrest persons who were wanted for murder, and up to now there's been no explanation.
Hughes believes that the head of the SWAT unit is also criminally culpable.
And there should be additional charges, because there's no explanation about why they left their designated mission to go to Mr. Boston's house, who had no history of any violence, never had any interaction with the police, enter his premises heavily armed with ARs and other automatic weapons, and then discharge them while he is in a lying position in his bed next to his wife. So it's not just the police officer who actually did the shooting. It was the person who took the decision to take them off mission, to take them to the home of someone who was never the target of any police investigation, and kill him. And so in those circumstances, we certainly are going to be challenging the decision to institute charges for manslaughter.
On Friday, Police Constable Sharon Peters was charged with manslaughter for the shooting death of Essequibo businessman Orrin Boston. The accused Sharon Peters appeared before Magistrate Esther Sam via Zoom at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he was not required to plead to the indictable charge. He was placed on $1 million bail. The shooting occurred on September 15, 2021. Boston, 29, was shot as he lay next to his wife in his bed. It is alleged that Peters, a member of the Guyana Police Force's SWAT team, pulled the trigger. The team was conducting an operation at Boston's Dartmouth Essequibo home at the time. Peters will make his next court appearance on February 1st.
Planning an elegant or corporate event? Let the experts at Star Rentals equip you. Give your event that spectacular 5-star experience it deserves with the options of transparent tents of various sizes, indoor and outdoor formal bars and cocktail tables with LED lights, stage, podium with lighting, portable AC units, generators, executive portable washrooms, outdoor light tower, and much more. Call today 226-3020, online www.starrentalsgy.com. Star Rentals, we got you covered.
Hey, looking for office furniture, stationery, electronics, janitorial supplies, or even dietary products? Okay, stop searching, because we at Imperial Trading have all that and more. Check us out at 73 Section 8 Urban Street, or give us a ring on 639-3785. And be sure to ask about our special discounts. Whatever you need, we got it. Because at Imperial Trading, we operate so you can operate.
A PNU AFC Member of Parliament Sherrod Duncan was arraigned in the Grove Diamond Magistrates Court this morning and was charged under the Cybercrime Act, Section 19. It has to do with an allegation filed by GCOM's IT manager, Anil Gittins, at the police cybercrime unit, Ivlery, which stated that Duncan allegedly described him as a jagabat and a trench crapo during Duncan's In the Ring online program. When the matter was called before Magistrate Judy Lashman, Duncan, through his attorneys, denied the allegation. The court was told that on January 11, 2022, without legal or lawful jurisdiction or excuse, Duncan used a computer system to publish electronic data about Gittins with the intent to humiliate and embarrass him and to cause emotional distress. Duncan was represented by a battery of lawyers led by attorney at law Nigel Hughes, who told media operatives that Duncan was initially placed on $275,000 bail, but his lawyers requested a reduction and the bail was reduced to $200,000.
Test from us and an invitation to the magistrate to revisit that sum. And so he's on $200,000 bail and we have to return in February, I think it's February 10th? Yeah. February 10th at 10:30 for the disclosure of statements by the prosecution, which they intend to rely on in the case. Well, I would only comment on the case when I see the statements, because we understand from the allegations that they're saying that it's because he referred to somebody as a jagabat and a trench crapo. I would be very disturbed if that is the basis. I was talking to Mr. Ramjatan, who has a lot more experience than me, earlier about the legality of this charge. And just to give you by way of example, if I say to you, Travis, that you're a jagabat to your face, that's not an offense. You couldn't possibly charge me with anything. It's not even libelous because I've said it to you. If I'd said it to somebody else about you, then potentially it might be libelous to the jagabat and not yourself, of course, you can appreciate. But here, the mere fact that this now is transmitted through electronic means suddenly converts what was not an offense into a criminal offense, and that is particularly disturbing. I certainly don't think that the Act, particularly Section 19, intended what was not previously legal to suddenly become legal because you use electronic means.
Hughes said Duncan's legal team was not anticipating the $275,000 bail.
Not what we anticipated. We certainly think for a summary offense, this is not an indictable offense. This is not an offense in which anybody their life has been threatened or there is some risk of civil disorder as a result of the allegation. Certainly think $275,000 bail, particularly where the income of an MP, which is the sole income of Mr. Duncan, certainly would seem to be unusual.
Duncan will make his next court appearance on February 10th, 2022.
In the news tonight, the coronavirus is spreading rapidly due to the Omicron variant. FHL Executive Cleaning and Sanitizing Services is offering enhanced disinfecting and protection services to combat this deadly strain. As you look to transition your employees back to work, FHL Executive Cleaning and Sanitizing Services is here to assist. You can reach them at 592-667-1477 or 592-677-3736 to select an electrostatic protection package. FHL, sanitizing with purpose.
Hello?
Grandson, tear up his granny.
Man, granny, I'm no man.
Grandson, tear up. Both morning. Come, please do something for granny fast. No, I want to get some groceries for me from the market.
Man, granny, you could call Trace Delivery Service, you know?
You know about the Trace Delivery Service and you never tell me? Look, just give me the number.
The number is...
All right.
Is up.
Granddaughter, you reach fast, man.
Yes,
You get
Granny.
the hook up.
Yes, Granny, yes. Anything else? Everything
I
come
ain't
up to
gotta get nothing.
15,000.
How much it come up to?
15, including the delivery.
Well, I ain't really gotta do nothing else. I just gotta go by NIS and do some running.
But Granny, we just do the tough for you, know. I gotta do sign behind your check and
You
we
make
can
a
go
joke.
for your thing. You ain't gotta forget, no COVID card or nothing. We doing everything for you.
All right, hold on. I'm going from a thing. Tear up where you go in. Step back. Step back. If you didn't go and buy it from me at the market, you want to see what I got in my bag. Good. Clean the
You
feet.
got me as your grandson.
Grandson material.
And before we go, a fire of unknown origin destroyed the Luparcan, Lombard, and Broad Streets bond, leaving in its wake millions of dollars in damages. According to Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben, about 12 vehicles were lost, in addition to other items. He feels the Guyana Fire Service did a good job. The minister was on the scene this morning, taking a first-hand look at the destruction.
Some containers on the outside. Other than a bit of initial confusion and trying to set up, the fire service did a good job in putting out the flames and containing the fire and avoiding it to get into combustible materials elsewhere on the site. There was some difficulty in getting past cars and other materials because they couldn't find the keys or perhaps were afraid to move the cars, so that perhaps led to more destruction than should have been possible. But that said, it was quite a good job. The question now is the reason for the fire. At this time, we don't rule out anything. So we'll be talking with the management here about recent disciplinary and other actions on site and any challenges they would have had in respect of the operations of the facility.
Fire Chief Gregory Wickham said firefighters were still conducting their mopping up exercise and investigations. He said the Guyana Fire Service responded to the fire call around 11:45 last night.
And so they're doing their investigative work to come up with the cause of the fire. And as soon as they will completed that, we will give a release so that members of the public generally would know what's the cause of the fire. We still have a little smoke emanating from some of the containers, so that's the reason why the tender has returned.
The services of the Guyana Revenue Authority at the location were disrupted. Commissioner General of GRA, Godfrey Stacia, said they are currently working to put systems in place.
And as far as we could see, the entire commercial bond has been burnt. So we're now taking an inventory of what has been burnt. Some vehicles also that were in the wharf has also been burnt up. So we're doing an inventory and then we shall give you an update thereafter.
Go ahead.
In the meantime, we are trying to, I've asked LPK to try to get power back on to the front office so that our operations could continue. To my department, presently none, right? But I know for the persons who have the cargo, I've been asking the LPK about insurance and these other things, and they're yet to tell us exactly what type of insurance that they would have and so.
Luparcan is one of the leading shipping companies in Guyana. For these and other stories, do visit us at our website www.rdproductiongy.com.